I'm Jyothsna Sainath. I'm a dance artist from the south of India, and the style of dance that I do is called as Bharatanatyam. And it's a form of dance that has had a long history of evolution. So it's evolved organically with the socio-economic developments in the, I should also say, political developments. Those have been a major input in some of the ways in which it's evolved over time. And because it's been around for so long, and because it's morphed given the environment that it's been practiced in, it's suited to expressing some ideas. It's suited to some themes traditionally, and I would say that it's better suited to performing some themes traditionally. But at the end of the day, all dance and all music, they're just a language. There is a need for people like me who grew up in this environment where we learned it in a traditional environment, where it was practiced in a traditional center, where it's performed, and now we operate outside of that center in a milieu that's quite different. It has been something that I periodically think about to figure out how it is that I can practice my form in a way that connects better with the milieu that I'm practicing in. And Sangam, this project, is I would say just one more attempt in that direction. For me personally, as somebody who has learned to perform Bharatanatyam to Carnatic music at the very basic level, then it's actually so fun and so interesting to work with music from other cultures, and to be able to detect pulses and nuances in that music that I can react to. Rhythm is a universal language, and we've worked on a few projects before where taking a rhythm structure from a traditional Bharatanatyam snippet and then playing it in another instrument, we just noticed that it just completely transforms the tone of what is being conveyed. I guess this is an experiment in some sense to try and build a story that's across, that spans cultures in some way, or goes across cultural affiliations. We're trying to tell a few fables, some of them from the Indian tradition, some from these fables and one from the Native American tradition. And we've strung them all together into one long big story. And these are stories that really, I mean, they're of universal appeal. Anybody can relate to them because most cultures at the end of the day are trying to say exactly the same thing. There may be layers of cultural context that one might have to get past, but really we're all pretty much saying the same thing. And so it was nice to be able to construct this string of stories into one long story, and then be able to construct music from these different components, from these different cultural, how should I put it, from the different cultures that these stories come from, and to try to create one whole from all these different interacting parts. So that was the exciting thing for me, and of course I'm really grateful to. This goes without saying that I'm really grateful to Salt Lake City Arts Council for making this happen in Utah. I mean, it's something that I would never have imagined when I moved into Utah as being possible.
I started originally as a conga player, and then I got into djembe, and then later drum set, and then later marimba and vibes and other mallet instruments. I'm playing some marimba in the show. I'm also playing djembe and a couple bass drums, some rockas. Basically just been a collaboration where we all sort of come up with our own parts within the rhythmic structure that Jyothsna has choreographed her dancing to.
I'm a member of the Northern Ute and Laguna Pueblo Indian tribes. I was born amongst the Ute people in northeastern Utah, is where I grew up and spent the majority of my adolescent life there, and then went to a Native American boarding school, the military, and then college in Utah, and then stayed here in Salt Lake City after graduating from college, and now I'm a therapist in the substance abuse field. But it's been a very interesting journey because I'm not used to playing with other cultures as much. So being able to be joining this project has been pretty interesting. It's been very educational because I'm learning part of their not only their instruments but also their individual talent as well as their dances in which is passed down in their culture. Could be a little bit challenging, but another part too, it's also pretty nice to be able to kind of explore those different areas and see how all with time began to come together as one.
I'm Divanjan Bhattacharya, and I'm a tabla player. So I have been playing it since I was very young. Musicians have one common language, which is music. And so what I have to do is I have to think about what the other musicians are playing and what I can transcribe in the tabla language. And so it is a very good learning experience for me. Then I get to know my subject more, I get to know their subject more, African drum, marimba, and so all sorts of drums. After all, we have a common platform, which is the rhythm, and so we can talk in our language, I mean the language of music, with our instrument, which is very interesting. Din, na, din. Din din na di na di tha tu na ta ta dag di di the tha kraden ka te ke na na kr tha da da ka tha ne da ka te da ne da ka din na.
I'm 21 years old and I'm a student at the University of Utah. I'm also a Bharatanatyam dancer. I started dancing from the age of 3 because my mom's also a teacher, and I've been dancing ever since, and I've been part of the production for a couple months now, and I really enjoyed As an Indian American, it's not very often that we get to have something to share our culture like this. So I think it's a really unique opportunity, and I think the collaboration, especially with the Native American artists, has been really interesting. I think a lot of times in our nation, you always want to look for the dividing differences, but to find so many similarities and a common ground between the art form, I think is really beautiful, and I'm really excited to do this collaboration.
My name is Srinivasan Raghuraman. I go by Chinu. I'm currently a faculty at the biology department at the University of Utah. But I also have learned dance as a kid, and I started learning. I gave up because it's for some reasons, I think. But when I came here to Utah, I saw Jyothsna perform and requested if I could join her dance company, and she graciously agreed to take me as a student. One of the things I really enjoy working in this company is, and this particular project, is that there are different people who come together to make this project happen. You have few souls coming to in a space, in a very sacred space, trying to express themselves, and not only just express ourselves, I think want to encompass the viewers and the audience who are involved in this project. I think the whole experience of going back and forth between different artists has been an incredible experience. We all are learning, but I think what's beautiful is we are learning together, and I think that to me is just really beautiful about the whole project. And we all bring our own cultural experiences, so it's a nice cross-cultural interaction going on. So not only are we rhythmically dancing on stage, we are rhythmically interacting with the musicians live, and that's a very rare opportunity to interact with people like that.
அகத்தினிலே உள் நின்றாள் அவள் அம்மை அம்மை எம்மை நாடு பொய் வென்றாள். அகத்தினிலே உள் நின்றாள் அவள் அம்மை அம்மை எம்மை நாடு பொய் வென்றாள். தகத்தக நாமக்கருள் புரிவாள் தானுன்றே சரணம் என்று வாழ்த்திடுவோம் நாம் இன்றே. தகத்தக நாமக்கருள் புரிவாள் தானுன்றே சரணம் என்று வாழ்த்திடுவோம் நாம் இன்றே. தக 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 தகவென்றாடோ மோ சிவசக்தி சக்தி சக்தி என்று பாடோமோ. தக 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 தகவென்றாடோமோ.
I'm Srinidhi Sundar, and I started learning from my grandmother. I was born and raised in India, so my grandmother was a vocalist, and I started learning music from her. I can't remember when, maybe 7, maybe 8, when I could start reading, probably. And she was trained in the South Indian classical style of music, so I started learning from her initially. But I grew up in the western part of India, in a city called Pune, which is sort of the mecca for a lot of musicians, and particularly North Indian classical musicians. And so growing up in Pune, I was naturally attracted to that style, and then I started learning from initially Srimati Shashikala Gadge, who was my guru, and then later Srimati Anuradha, who's been my guru for the longest time.
பரபர வேகரி புரி
actually really grateful that we have this opportunity, because in a lot of ways it's, you have to think outside the box, and it's liberating because you don't stick to the conventional classical repertoire or the conventional compositions. You kind of have to compose bits and pieces to suit what is, the various animals that have been depicted in the dance. But while it's liberating and while you get to think outside the box, you also have to color inside the lines. And the really interesting thing is that I got to learn is that the Native African, the Native American flute, each flute is tuned to a specific scale, in the sense that there are only a certain fixed set of notes that you can play on each flute, and if you want to change those, you have to play on a different flute. And most of those are pentatonic scales. And so we had to listen to various flutes and then find one that fits a scale in the Indian classical music tradition, so that we can find some common ground to collaborate off of. So it's been interesting. You kind of have to learn to think outside what you've been taught traditionally, but you still have to color within the lines. And I think that makes for a really interesting environment, and there's a lot that you get to learn out of.